Hello, welcome to my home. My name's Lisa, and today I'm going to be doing a little area by my TV. I'm hoping to do my living room, but I'm going to pace it out over the whole day. I got shots in my knees yesterday, and so I scheduled today off so that I could stay off my feet. So I'm only going to do like little 10-minute segments or whatever, and I'm just gonna try to give my knees a little bit of a break. They say that you don't need to do that, but I always have done that, and they've lasted like 7 months, and I didn't do it last time and they barely made it 3. So I don't know, maybe it's all in my head, I don't know. But I don't think my head can tell my knees to hurt. I don't know, but anyway, you didn't come here to hear about my knees. So anyway, we actually had a snow day today in Ohio, so they actually closed our restaurant again today because it's supposed to be getting progressively worse. There's a bunch of ice out there now, and it's supposed to get worse as the day goes on and through the night. So anyway, I would have been off anyway today, but anyway, I've said anyway and so a bunch of times, so you'll have to just bear with me. Let me turn the camera around and I'll show you what I'm going to be working on first. Okay, and unfortunately the lighting is going to be kind of crappy because it is just a dark, gloomy day out there, and I have to have lights on or you wouldn't see what anything looks like. So I had my Christmassy kind of quilt up, and last night I put the binding on my wall hanging. That was my goal to get finished over the last week, and so I was able to get that done. So after I took my Christmas trees down, the floor was disgusting, so I spent about 10 minutes sweeping that up a little bit and wiping off the cobwebs, and so I think I'm going to put the new quilt up, and then I have a little drying rack. I thought today I might try to make some little hearts to go on it for Valentine's Day and try to go through some of my pink color fabrics or whatever. And so that's the agenda next. And unfortunately, this is a little bit different size. It's a little smaller than the one I have, so I'm going to have to rearrange the hooks, and I don't want you to have to witness me struggle with that, so I'll come back as soon as I'm done. Okay, well that didn't take too long. So it usually takes a day or two after I hang a quilt up for it to kind of lay right. And I was having so much trouble with my sewing machine when I was putting the binding on. It was almost like my feed dogs weren't feeding it through. And I thought they weren't working. I took it apart, but they were working. It just didn't seem like. I even lengthened my stitch length to see if maybe that would help. But anyway, but I was so determined I was going to get that thing done. And I'll talk about it in my floss tube, but anyway, I was so determined I was going to get it done. I was just pushing that thing through there. I'm like, you are getting done. So I was praying through the whole time that I was putting on this binding that it wouldn't be too wonky. So the old one will get put away till next year. These are just some of the things that I brought out thinking that I would put on my TV stand. I just love this little bunny. And even though his ear broke and I glued it back on, and you can definitely tell, I still love to decorate with it. These are a couple of my little red cross-stitch pieces that I've made, which I really need to make more. I need to put that in my rotation. And so then I have a little pitcher and this little wooden box that used to hold like garage nuts and bolts. But isn't it cute? So these are the things that I thought I would start with. They were very close at hand, and I didn't have to go down to the basement because I'm trying not to go down the steps today. So that's what I'm going to use. So I will try to set up the camera and show you what I have next. Okay, sorry about the glare in the TV, but like I said, that's just how we're going to have to roll with it. So I had to offset my DVD player. The other day it wouldn't work, and we thought for sure, and I even had it in my cart in Amazon, and I was going to order one, and then I thought, oh my gosh, there's one in the bedroom that we never use. I should just be frugal and go get that one and use it. But there I sat on the couch looking through Amazon thinking, oh, this would be much easier. And maybe someday I'll want to watch it in bed. So anyway, we just kind of pulled it off to the side playing with it. Sorry, I got in the dust today, so I'll be coughing. Anyway, so we pulled it off to the side. We just left it. Anyway, but I think what had happened is it just overheated because it was on top of our cable box, centered so it would look cute. And I think all the heat, there wasn't enough room for that to exit. So we have it off to the side, and I just have it held up kind of level with this little dish. But I want Larry to make me some little wooden slats that would go under there that I could paint black so that it would have room to vent and it would still have room on top. Anyway, Larry had just made this little thing out of just some barn wood that we had out in the driveway. And so he might be able to take it apart and lengthen it so we could just set them side by side. I'm not sure exactly what he'll choose to do, but I'm hoping we'll work on that this weekend. So this little dresser was a garage sale. I almost said thrift store, but a garage sale find. It was missing one of the drawers, and so I got it for $10. And the top is pretty rough, but I had always planned on putting some quilt or fabric on the top of it or whatever. So I just got this fabric at the thrift store, just made a little sleeve and slid a dowel through and just put some nails in there and attached it. And so we can put some of our electronic undesirable stuff underneath there, and it can still get air. And then I found another little piece of toile that went pretty close to it, and so I just put an edge around that and used that as the topper to conceal most of the wood. So these were some cans that Larry found. Actually, they actually still have bolts in them. I didn't know what to do with those yet, so I'll just leave them in there. But I had them propping up some bottle brush trees at Christmas. So I thought, well, it ended up, it wasn't too high that you couldn't see the TV screen. So let me grab the dust thing and clean that off real good, and then we'll put some stuff up. My goodness, I cleaned behind, off the TV, and could not believe the amount of dust that was on that thing. Oh heavens, it was terrible. No wonder I'm coughing. But I know it has a lot to do with my birds. I have an aviary in this room, and so there's like 20 or so birds in there. So I know they are dusty little critters, so I know they contribute to it. And I have dogs, and let's face it, I'd much rather be decorating or crafting or stitching or quilting than cleaning. But it's always a good motivation. If I have to clean, then I might as well put something new up, right? Might as well rearrange some stuff. So, let's see. I kind of thought this little red box could go over here to try to conceal my little makeshift leveler. Maybe that over there, I don't know. I love greenery. I think between saying I love greenery and I got it at the thrift store is probably, you could probably put that on my tombstone. but I mean, it's just okay. But then you put some greenery next to it, and now you're talking. I like it. And I'm gonna put the bunny somewhere. Let's see. Put that up there. And I want to try to cover up the spot where he was broken, or she. And I have to make sure I don't conceal that little eye, or the remote won't work and I'll never hear the end of that. All right, let's see. So I'm liking it for now. Like I said, I might change something around if I'm down in the basement and I find something else that I think would look better. Like I said, I'm trying not to go down the steps today, so. But boy, this area over here has just been, I mean, there were so many dust bunnies underneath there. And then we usually keep our dog toys right here in the middle of the floor. And there has to be a minimum of 3 because we have 3 dogs. Needless to say, there was a lot of hair and whatnot under there. Good night. But it's gone now. Ha ha ha. Okay, so the next part is going to take me a little while, so I'll probably have to stop the video, and I'm going to head to the sewing machine and just sit and see if I could play around a little bit. I've seen on Instagram tons of people making little hearts and things like that, and I thought maybe, I've even seen on one of the cleaning and decorating shows that I watch. I'll try to go and look while I turn this off and go to the next thing. I'll look to see what her name was, because it was kind of fun to watch her Valentine decorating show. Anyhow, she had done some cute stuff too, and she put out a bunch of hearts. So I thought, I've got red fabric. I know how to stitch a heart. So, and goodness knows, who knows if it would get to me in time for Valentine's Day is right around the corner. So, I'm going to go into the sewing room and see what I can come up with. So I'll bring you back in a little bit. Okay, so I'm back in my sewing room, and I've got a little bit of the preliminary stuff kind of taken care of. I wanted to make a banner. I've seen some on some of the other YouTubers that are doing Valentine's decorations and things right now, and so I thought I would try it. And my plan was to hi Bella. My plan was to, they did it in paper, and I thought, oh, I've got tons of paper. And then I thought, oh my goodness, by the time I go through all of my stack of paper, it's gonna take me forever. And I think I might have the right thing, but I'm not positive. But I knew I had already been pulling out some of my reds in like a primitive color red. I'd been pulling out a lot of my fabric that I had, and then I pulled out some of the scraps from that quilt that I just hung up. And so I knew that was already right here. And I knew I had some Osnaburg fabric that kind of looked like the paper that I was going to try to look for anyway. It was just had words and stuff on it. So what I did was I looked for a heart shape, and so I found one in this really cute book. And now you could just draw a heart, whatever. I'm not very good artist, but this book had really pretty heart shapes already planned out. It's by Kori Turner Goodheart. She's a designer, excuse me, in Ohio, Northeast Ohio, close to me. about an hour away. And so she had a really pretty, and now I don't want to show any of the necessities in here, but she had a really pretty quilt. Isn't that pretty? It's like a little table runner, and you put your family name in there, and she's got an alphabet in the book. Anyway, but she had a ton of different heart shapes in here, so I'm kind of leaning towards maybe trying to do that. If not for this Valentine's Day, you know, for Sweetest Day coming up, I thought, well, that might look cute somewhere. Starting to run out of places to put things. So anyway, so that was my thought process. But you could do the same thing in paper if you're a scrapbooker, or like to do cards or whatnot. Or you could do it in pretty much any colors. So all I did was I picked out the heart shape and I drew it on fusible web, and I use the light so that you could stitch through it. And so then I have my fabric that I'm going to make the hearts out of. And then the way I decided how big I wanted this banner to be, it's just going to have 4 sections to it. I just laid out my fabric on my cutting mat, and I laid the heart shape down on it, and I figured enough room around the edge, and then I cut the strip. And then the width of the strip, I knew I needed 4, and so if I cut it into 4 cuts, it gave me this size. And then I laid them all together, and I just laid my rotary cutter and the ruler on the edge and just lopped it off. And so the first time I did it, I had missed one of the points, so I redid it. Now, is it absolutely, you know, a perfect angle? Probably not, but it doesn't matter. And so then I folded over about 3/4 of an inch, something like that, and did a straight stitch so that I could feed my twine or ribbon or whatever I choose to hang it on. And then I thought, well, it kind of needed a little bit of texture or something. So I went ahead and did a zigzag around the edge, and it did kind of ripple it up a little bit. You could always just sew 2 together and turn it inside out if you didn't want to do a zigzag, or you could just leave the raw edge. It's not like I'm ever going to wash this. So anyway, so all I have to do now is just fuse the hearts on here. And so I thought I would show that just in case somebody has never done it. So just a second. Okay, so whenever you use fusible web, you just trace your whatever pattern you have. So like this is a heart shape. You trace it on the paper side, and then you trim out, not on the line, but like, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch around the edge. It just depends on whether you want to be sparing and save the fabric that you're doing it on. And so you put it on the back side of your fabric, the wrong side. That way when you flip it over, the pretty side will show. So you just take your iron and you just tap it down. You have to be careful because if you have any of the, I wasn't even showing you very good, I'm sorry. If you have some of the iron, some of the webbing loose, it will get on your iron, so you want to be careful about that. I'm just trying to save as much of this fabric as I can because I really love it and I don't have very much of it. So, and I obviously cannot multitask and film. But that's okay. You're getting the idea, right? Okay, so we have it fused down, and you just wait a couple minutes because it will be hot. And then you're going to trim out on the line. And so as soon as I do that, I will be right back. Okay, so basically I'm just cutting out on the line. And now there's different ways that you can approach finishing off the edge. If you have a sewing machine that has decorative stitches, I mean, you could easily just use the zigzag around the edge. You could do a satin stitch. You could just take some embroidery floss and just make some really big X's around the edge, or just even a whip stitch. There's so much that you could do. If you don't like to sew, you could just leave off all of the above. I love to do hand stitching, so to me that sounds exciting. But if that's not your cup of tea, or if you just don't have time before the Valentine's Day approaches quickly, it's totally up to you. However you want to approach it, it's all you. You do what you like. So I'm on the fourth one here. We're almost ready to go ahead and show you how to fuse them down. Okay, so let me spin you. Well, first of all, once you have it cut out, you're gonna, the way I find is easiest to try to get the paper off the back is just to kind of fold it just a little bit at the edge, and that will break that paper apart, or break the bond, whatever you want to say. And it makes it real easy to peel it apart. So we'll hurry and do that before I grab the camera, which will probably require all of my hands. Where'd the fourth one go? Shucks. 1, 2, 3. That's funny. Oh, here we go. 4. My sewing room's such a disaster. That's okay. I'm creating. It's good. Okay, let me spin you around here just a second. Okay, so you're going to make sure you have the little edge that you sewed for your pocket. You want that to be on the back. So this will be the front of your banner. And then you're just going to lay your heart on here. Just want to try to get the point centered with the point of your banner. And then you just iron. So you can read the instructions on the packaging. Some people say not to use steam. Whatever, it's up to you, however you want to do it. I use steam. And then you just, the way you can tell is, you know, you have your right side of the fabric, and then you have the side that's shiny. That's where your glue is. And so we'll just line up the point. And I mean, this is just primitive stuff. It's not like you have to get your tape measure out or whatever, but if you're OCD and you need to, then you do you. I am not a perfectionist in any stretch of the imagination, so. Now, I'm not sure whether I'm going to use twine to hang these on. I thought about twine. I think that would probably go the best with my fabric because it's kind of primitive. But I'm not sure if it'll hang very good. Sometimes twine has its own mind of its own, so not quite sure how this will go. Hopefully it'll go well. If not, I might just use some crochet thread. We'll see. And then if it doesn't hang exactly where I want, I could always kind of pin it inconspicuously to the quilt to get it to do what I want it to do. Yeah, we'll see. So I'm going to go gather some more stuff together. I don't think I'm going to stitch it before I hang it just to show you. I will probably take it down and stitch it later on. On this snow day, I'll have some time to stitch, so I'll probably go ahead and do that afterwards, because I kind of want to finish this video and get it uploading so then I can be multitasking. So, uh-oh, somebody's here. Just a second. Okay, so I've done a little bit of the stitching just to kind of show you an idea of how it was going to end up. I just did really big crosses, so you just would come up, and I couldn't figure out how to get my camera to, I didn't want to rearrange my tripod to get it to flip around, so I'm just going to show you. You just come up in this spot here. I tried to stay consistent, about 1/4 of an inch in from the edge, and you're just going to come up here and go down here, come up here and go down here. It's just a big X. There's nothing hard about it. And so I'll do all of those like that. And then I have a couple, I thought I'd sew some buttons on here. Got these at the thrift store. Imagine that. And so we'll just dump some of these out and see. Try to grab some of the oldest looking ones. And I thought I would just sew a couple little buttons on them just to kind of jazz it up a little bit. I felt like it needed something. Those might be a little too big. I'll play around with it and see. I used DMC floss to go around the edge, but you could just use regular stitching thread if you wanted, because I just used one strand. You could use more, but I think it looks pretty to just be so dainty like that. So anyway, I'm gonna hurry and do the rest of them, because I figure if I don't do it ahead of time, I might not finish it, because I have a record of that. So let me, oh, and then I also, when I was looking for the twine, I found some ribbon, and I thought I might use it to go, it's just 1/4 inch ribbon, and I thought I might use that to hang it up. I thought that might hang a little bit nicer than jute, but if that's what you have, or crochet thread, whatever, if you just want to hang them with fishing line, I don't know, there's ways if you want to do it. So all right, let me get busy. Okay, everybody. So I have my little banner finished. I just have it pinned up there temporarily. So I went ahead and did the stitching around the edge and put a couple buttons on, or 3 buttons on each one. And I just hung it from that ribbon, which I think looks okay. This is just to get me through Valentine's Day, which is only a couple weeks away, and then I'll take that off and just have the quilt there. And then just as a little recap, this is what the TV cabinet looks like. And then I set up my drying rack, and so it looks like this. Don't mind the towel there on the floor. I'm not sure. It's what I use to dry the dogs off when they come in. They're sopping wet. I'm not sure how that made it there, but Marshall must have been playing with it. So this is just what some of the odds and ends I have on here. Just have little crochet doilies that I get at the thrift store for like 50 cents. And this was like a little hanky that had some embroidery work done on it, and so I just coffee dyed it and put it in the oven, and it got a little bit scorched, and to tell you the truth, I just had it in my pile of stuff and had figured I just ruined it, but I went ahead and pressed it, and I think it looks kind of cool. I have one of my mom's quilts little wall hangings that she made in the back there. This piece here just was just a little crocheted doily table runner type thing. And then this was one of my little buttermilk basin blocks that I made into a little table runner. And then a couple more little doilies, and this was a little table runner that was given to me by a friend. Thanks, Chastity. So anyway, I'm excited. I just took a little bit of, just for some color, I took a little bit of my calico or quilting fabric and just kind of hung it on there just because I thought it would give me some color until I get some quilts made in that color. So anyway, I like how it turned out. So anyway, thank you for joining me. Thanks for helping keeping me motivated to get this project done, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day.